Hello, today is June 29th, Sunday, 2025. We're almost 6 months through the year, 6 months already, it seems like, and a great deal has happened. Things are going fast, things around the world, things in this country, all of, major consequences down the road, in my view. Most of them seem to be problematic. I've been sending myself emails with links as I go along and I read stuff and I watch various YouTube videos. I call these all the puzzle pieces. I'm trying to put together some larger view, if you will, and see what the whole picture, the whole puzzle looks like. And my hope is that somehow I'll figure out what it all means, and then maybe what I should do about it. Hard to say. I started with AI, and I'm going to make one more segment. This is my third segment, and I'm going to put up an article. I'm going to start with an article recently that was in the Washington Post. This is a recent article in the Washington Post. Let me get rid of all that garbage. Bosses says bosses want you to know AI is coming for your job, and then there's a little subtitle there. It says is posturing or prescience. And this article talks about the possibility that that the CEOs are just touting AI kind of as a publicity thing, just to their stockholders and customers happy, thinking that they're on the cutting edge, so to speak, and they're applying AI in their job to do a better job and be more productive and provide better output. Nonetheless, the CEOs are saying that AI is going to at least disrupt the jobs, and the workers will either have to use AI in their jobs, or the worst case is that the job will be displaced completely by AI. And so that turns out to be kind of something to think about. And the problem is, I guess this is just kind of a speculation in some ways. And it says here economists say there aren't yet strong signs that AI is driving widespread layoffs. But I think that, and it talks about some evidence that workers are using AI in their jobs. And this brings up the point that this article kind of emphasizes that AI is a tool, and that it can be used in your job to increase your productivity and maybe enable you to do things that you couldn't do before. The idea of it as a tool, I think, is probably largely true, but it's not the complete extent of the impact of AI, and it's probably not the most important thing. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But right now, yeah, I think that the impact of AI tends to be most readily observed that in in the job market of new hires from college graduates. And I just recently saw Paul Krugman talking with Martin Wolf, who's the chief, I guess, financial correspondent for the Financial Times. So these are both people with some credibility. And they noted that the unemployment rate, I should say, for college graduates is 5.8%, and that's exceeds the overall unemployment rate of 4.2%, which I think is the latest statistic. So there is some impact at the hiring level, and whether that's due to AI taking on jobs or just the overall general uncertainty, I can't say. But I can say that one of my neighbors, who happens to be a lawyer, uh, did say that his firm has cut back on hiring of new graduates, and that some of the functions that they did before is being taken over by AI, and some things the AI can do, and I think he said like 3 days as opposed to 30 days for a whole room full of new college graduates. So I think there is some truth to the fact that AI is having its impact right now in the hiring part of the market. Let me turn now to Geoffrey Hinton, the father or godfather of AI, and play this short clip and see what he had to say. And even he has a little job recommendation, but I think this is very germane to the conversation here.
We turn now to the new warning from the so-called godfather of artificial intelligence and his message about the jobs of the future. This morning, Geoffrey Hinton, the so-called godfather of AI, has a new warning about the technology he helped create.
I often say 10 to 20% chance they'll wipe us out.
In a new interview with podcast host Stephen Bartlett, Hinton, a Nobel Prize-winning computer scientist, says superintelligent machines could one day decide humans are no longer needed.
It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken.
Hinton also warning of the many threats artificial intelligence poses right now, including mass cyber attacks, bioengineered viruses, lethal autonomous weapons, and mass unemployment.
If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
His advice for a safer path?
I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
Still, Hinton believes there's hope, saying
Well, there you have it. AI is going to be smarter than us, but it won't be very good at manipulating things in the physical world. So that's where the job opportunities will be. So if you want to have a better chance of staying employed, be a plumber. That's it for this little segment, and we'll see you in the next piece. This next segment is Yuval Noah Harari, who's a noted historian, sort of a public intellectual, and he's written several books about the human race and the future of human race, and particularly how he sees AI. So I thought I'd play a little bit of this first few minutes of this, or first minute or two, I hope only, of this interview, and let you hear what he has to say. And he makes an important point, really, that AI is not just a tool. It is an agent. It can do things. It can make decisions. And I think we're already seeing that. And you'll hear directly from him because he's a much better speaker than I am. So here you go.
All artificial intelligence, or alien intelligence, as you refer to it throughout your writing, the rise of a new species that could replace Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
Sapiens, your prior book. What does it mean to be human right now?
To be aware that for the first time we have real competition on the planet. That we have been the most intelligent species by far for tens of thousands of years. And this is how we got from being an insignificant ape in a corner of Africa to being the absolute rulers of the planet and of the ecosystem. And now we are creating something that could compete with us in the very near future. The most important thing to know about AI is that it is not a tool like all previous human inventions. It is an agent. An agent in the sense that it can make decisions independently of us. It can invent new ideas. It can learn and change by itself. All previous human inventions, whether a printing press or the atom bomb, they are tools that empower us.
They needed us.
They need us because a printing press cannot write books by itself, and it cannot decide which books to print. An atom bomb cannot invent the next more powerful bomb, and an atom bomb cannot decide what to attack. An AI weapon can decide by itself which target to attack and design the next generation of weapons by itself.
So this is why you argue that AI is potentially, or it sounds like you're saying is, by the way, now, but you've written in the past, potentially more momentous in the invention of the telegraph, the printing press, even writing. But the way you talk about it in Nexus is that it is a baby.
Yeah.
Because it learns from us. And therefore, your argument is that we, especially the powerful leaders in this room, have a lot of responsibility